Lots of gaming news to go over. The next big God of War is dropping sooner than we expect. I hope you like Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, because we will likely get way more Assassin's Creed remakes. I want to look at Gamescom. We got the first details on what we can expect and way more. So good at joining this Sunday news roundup. And let's go. God of War Laufey is dropping February 16th, 2027. So yes, earlier than expected. Although it was always weird that Sony was already pushing this game so heavily during its reveal in June. Because normally when they announce a big new game, like most recently with Intergalactic, they go quiet for quite some time. We will talk about that February release date in a moment, but during the San Diego Comic-Con panel, Cory Barlog also confirmed that the next Kratos-led God of War game is coming after Laufey and it connects directly to her story. So we first get Laufey, which of course takes place during the events of God of War 2018 and Ragnarok, but in the Everywhen, the afterlife of the gods. This game will reveal way more about the Norse saga, but should also set up what comes next. And yeah, we now know that what comes next is a brand new game where we play Kratos again. But let's not forget that we're also getting the trilogy remake, and I think that will probably happen before this next Kratos focused game. So Laufey, God of War trilogy remake, and then the next big God of War with Kratos. So we're eating good as God of War fans. Imagine if they actually made Horizon games we wanted instead of trying to create a kids or teen audience that is not there. More on Horizon, by the way, a bit later in the video. But yeah, February 16th, 2027 is brutal, as the game has a huge crossover audience with Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis, which is planned for February 12th. And I really think Fable could have been huge on PS5 if there wasn't a big God of War game releasing just 2 days before. Now, Fable's official launch is February 23rd, but the premium edition owners get access starting on February 18th. But I think now many people will either skip the game or play it much later because they will be busy with this big God of War. And personally, covering both games at the same time will be very hard, so I will also have to pick and choose, whereas otherwise I would go crazy covering both. But yeah, early 2027 overall is shaping up to be another bloodbath. Metro 2039 is also planned for February, along with the Persona 4 remake. And then we have titles like Exodus, Lords of the Fallen 2, the Game of Thrones strategy game War for Westeros, and Wolong 2, Wings of Ember, all slated for early 2027. At least March is still free, so I'm expecting many games to move over there, but I don't think Fable will change its release date, although I hope I'm wrong. Where Winds Meet just got the biggest update yet, basically a brand new free expansion, so they reached out to sponsor this Sunday video, which really supports the channel. And I've easily put more than 100 hours into this game, and it's now going into its 2.0 phase. You get a huge, beautiful, more mechanically advanced region that introduces a lot of vertical gameplay. So open world exploration will feel quite different, also thanks to the many new activities. The new gauntlet weapon is really cool as a more fast-paced, combo-heavy option. We got awesome new mechanical bosses, but you can also encounter monkeys on boars while exploring this new open world that is also home of the Moist Hill Sect, a construction and research-driven progression that you can join. There are brand new main story and side missions, like a really AAA-sized expansion for an open world game, but you can play it completely free. So I highly recommend checking Where Winds Meet out if you haven't already, or returning to the game through the link in the video description. That would support the channel as well, so thanks to Where Winds Meet for sponsoring this Sunday video, and now let's continue with the news. Ubisoft had its investor call this week, which revealed 2 interesting things. One is that while Ubisoft launched both The Division Resurgence and Rainbow Six Mobile at the start of this year, its most successful mobile game is actually one that came out 2 years ago, Invincible: Guardians of the Globe. This game significantly overperformed Ubisoft's expectations thanks to the launch of the new Invincible TV show and some new additions they added during that period. It really shows, for one, that even if a game is not successful, if you stick with it, it might blow up later, while of course recently we've seen many games get dropped after a few months. But it also shows that the mobile market is very tough and that bringing PC and console quality games from major franchises rarely works, while those projects likely have much higher budgets than the mobile games that actually do succeed. We also got interesting insights into Black Flag Resynced and remakes in general. The game has already sold in 3.5 million copies, exceeding annual expectations from Ubisoft within its first 14 days. So what this basically means is that Ubisoft expected Black Flag Resynced to sell fewer than 3.5 million copies during their entire financial year, meaning through April 2027. But instead, what they expected to achieve in 8 months has now happened in 2 weeks. They really did not expect this remake to be as big as it is. It's actually one of the biggest Assassin's Creed launches ever in terms of copies sold. During the investor call, they also noted that the remake of course costs less to develop than a brand new game, and that they also have to spend less on marketing because the awareness is already there. But at the same time, they are selling it for less than full price, meaning the revenue per copy is lower. But even with that, it's still a breakout success. They expect this project to become profitable already this quarter. However, they did not want to raise their financial guidance for the full year yet, so it seems like they're not 100% convinced that the sales will continue at this pace over time. Still, this is Ubisoft's biggest success since Valhalla almost 6 years ago. So I totally think we will see many more remakes moving forward. Let me know which Assassin's Creed games you would like to see remade in the comments down below. Ubisoft also said that it still has some unannounced, targeted premium titles based on established Ubisoft IPs. And we actually have a big rumor from Tom Henderson that new content has finished filming for Watch Dogs Legion. Seems like Ubisoft wants to release a new version of that game with, again, new missions and stuff at the end of the year. So probably as a, hey, you're waiting for GTA 6, well, check out this game in the meantime if you want your urban gameplay fix. Pretty interesting. I'll of course keep you up to date here, but let's go over way more gaming news. Leave a like, that would really help me out, and subscribe because I post one of these big gaming news Roundup videos every Sunday. Now time for quick shots, news stories I will go over quickly with a new Kingdom Come game, a game delay, and Xbox making some positive moves. But first, we're almost in August, which means Gamescom is upon us, and for the first time ever, the exhibition space for the world's biggest gaming convention has sold out. And that's kinda wild, especially when you think about the fact that E3 is no more and more things in general are moving towards a digital presence. And they want to expand even more next year. So I'll be attending this year. I will of course bring you coverage, starting with a live reaction to the Gamescom opening night live show on August 25th. These shows are always fun, and now it has officially been confirmed that The Witcher 3's Song of the Past expansion will be shown there, so that's already very exciting. Tides of Annihilation will also have its first ever hands-on session for anyone attending. The game is of course looking very promising, so that will be awesome. The new Metro 2039 will also be playable for the first time, which is huge, just like the Gears of War E-Day campaign and the Blood of Dawnwalker, which will be out a week later. And of course, if you cannot make it to the event, you can still expect lots of trailers and gameplay online. Again, I will have my coverage. I personally hope that Phantom Blade Zero will have a booth again this year, because they're approaching the game's release, so I just want to see more. And while I don't believe it will happen, I also don't want to get my hopes up, but I totally understand why people expect Assassin's Creed Hexate to show up here. If the game is really planned for June next year, this will be the final Gamescom before launch, and if the game is set in Germany, it could make a big splash here. Now let me know what you hope to see at Gamescom in the comments down below. Expect way more coverage. If new things will be announced, I'll of course let you know here and on the React channel, so it's going to be good. And maybe Gamescom is where Kingdom Come Salvation will be announced, as a new trademark was filed in the EU. While it will probably be a smaller project than Deliverance 2, we know the game is an open world title and is expected to be released before March 2028, so during Embracer's next financial year, which starts in April 2027. That means that it could also already launch next year, making an announcement at Gamescom not unlikely. I will of course keep you posted. The 25th anniversary of Ghost Recon is coming up. The first game launched in November 2001, and on Thursday, August 6th, Ubisoft will talk about its plans to celebrate, which, yes, includes a current-gen 4K 60 FPS version of Ghost Recon Wildlands, with a new mission, as was already teased on Xbox. But we also know that a new first-person Ghost Recon has been in the works for many years, so maybe they will also tease that. Let me know what you hope to see in the comments, and I will of course report it here. Xbox is bringing backwards compatibility to PC, which lets you play old Xbox games on PC, but also on PC handhelds like the ROG Xbox Ally. It starts with these 4 games, which can now also be purchased, but if you already own a digital license, you can now play them across your PC devices as well, with new features like 4 times the resolution upscaling and other improvements to make the games look better. Achievement support is coming later, and more games have been promised, with data miners having found mentions of Xbox 360 support, which would be a huge win. Combine this with a rumored way for Xbox users to convert physical games into digital titles, and Xbox is doing a much better job preserving people's libraries for the digital future than PlayStation. The next big Tomb Raider game, Catalyst, seems to have been delayed until 2028 according to the Amazon Games boss, but the publisher itself does not want to confirm it yet, which means it's probably real. And yeah, that's not the biggest surprise, as the remake of the first game was also moved from 2026 to February 2027. While Legacy of Atlantis looks promising, I'm more curious about Catalyst, as that is the first new real current-gen Tomb Raider game from Crystal Dynamics, and it should also include an open world to explore. But yeah, we have to wait a bit longer before we can play it. I'm expecting it in early 2028. Let me know your hype level in the comments down below. In the rumor roundup, I cover the biggest rumors and leaks of the week and rate them with stars. 3 meaning I believe it, and 1 means let's take this with a huge grain of salt. Maybe you've seen articles this week talking about how Horizon 3 is emerging as a well-executed final installment that is not that far away. Well, this is based on a stream Colin Moriarty did with God of War creator David Jeffy, who's now also a content creator. So I went back to listen to that section, and they never actually mention Horizon 3. They only talk about the next Horizon game, which is of course Horizon Hunters Gathering, the multiplayer game that the majority of Guerrilla Games is working on. I wish it was not the case, but the third Horizon single player game is still very far away, unfortunately. But I've noticed something interesting and kind of alarming, as after the most recent second test they did, they've gone completely silent. Ever since the reveal, they've been posting like regularly, almost every week, but now their pages have been quiet for more than a month. Also, the Guerrilla Games job page, for the first time that I can remember, shows 0 job openings. So maybe something is going on. Maybe there's been a shift in strategy, and that after the second test I realized, okay, maybe this is not it. Or it could be like a summer break. There could of course be many things going on, but I still thought it was interesting. Curious to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. But yeah, 1 star for that Horizon 3 rumor. There are, by the way, a lot of like AI fake Horizon posts, so be careful out there. If I don't talk about it, it's probably not real. I think this is going to be a 2030 game at the earliest. Again, it pains me to say. This coming week, Halo Campaign Evolved launches, although you can already play it if you buy the more expensive premium edition. Xbox sent me a code for PS5, and I definitely want to give it a try. I'm also expecting a new Black Flag Resynced update with, next to fixes, fingers crossed, a removal for the blowpipe. I think it might happen, but this is not confirmed, just my speculation. I'll of course keep you up to date here with a big new Sunday video like this at the end of the week. So subscribe, leave a like, and I will speak to you very soon. Goodbye.